Good morning, everyone. It is Thursday, which means it's another edition of Trap Chat with the Shark. I am Kirsten, the trap recruiter, with my lovely co-host, Richard Rosner, the staffing shark. And today we're joined by the phenomenal HR Jazzy. Yes, we only bring people on the show who have a moniker. Get over it. Coming to us all the way from the great state of Alabama.
Yeah.
Jazzy, please introduce yourself.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for having me. My name is Jazmine Wilkes. I am in Alabama. I don't know if I'm going to call it a great state today, but I am in Alabama, a HR generalist and HR professional, blogger, creator, sometimes connector if I like people.
So you kind of glossed over you're like blogger, like it's nothing, but I really need you to tell the people like what you did with your blog, like how you started out just being authentic, being you, talking about being new to HR, and how that evolved into what it is today and the things that have come out of that, because it is not something that you should be like, oh yeah, I'm just a blogger.
I do that a lot, but yeah, so I started my blog, I believe in 2017. I just wanted to, like, I was new to HR, new to the Huntsville area of HR, and I didn't have a lot of HR resources at all. So I decided, I had joined Twitter and I wanted to, meet new people, get more information, see how I can continue my professional growth. And I decided, hey, I'm going to start a blog for HR newbies, as I like to call them. And I just started writing about my experiences, about, being in recruiting and working in HR and dealing with different employee issues that came up, and how people can also get into this field, or what they should be looking out for if they're truly interested in HR. And it has grown to be so much more than what I ever thought it would be. It has an amazing following. I haven't, like 2020, I took a deep break from blogging. I did a little bit of, contributing to other organizations, but I did not blog for HR Jazzy. And when I logged back in like 2021, I was surprised to see that people were still like following it. People were still liking the content. And I was like, oh, wow. So yeah, it's gotten so big, so much bigger than what I ever thought.
So Baked HR just hopped in and said that they love HR. HR newbies are lucky to have HR Jazzy. So speaking of Baked HR, tell us a little bit about Baked HR.
Well, my co-host and I, Christina Mingert, we started Baked HR. Look, we had talked about doing Baked HR maybe 2 years ago, primarily because we were hearing from HR newbies in Huntsville, and they were telling us that they wanted to be HR directors within 6 months of graduating college.
Wow.
Yo, my face, you see how red my face just got?
Accelerator.
And we were like, you want to do what now? And so we decided, right. So we decided we wanted to, talk to the people a little bit and give them some idea of what HR looked like. But then we didn't do it for like I said, 2 years. We didn't do it. And then we got back and we were just like, 2020, we lost a good friend of ours. And we were just like, this is the year that we need to actually do it. Like, we need to stop playing around. The content is there. There are plenty of people doing podcasts and everything. And plus, we just like talking crap about HR, and we like baked sweets. So we decided to start Baked HR.
So when can we catch Baked HR?
So you can find Baked HR on YouTube. We usually upload to the Baked HR channel every Wednesday. And then we go live on the Baked HR Instagram on Sunday nights at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. I have to make sure I say Central Standard for our DC friends.
Yes.
And we just go live like this coming week. We're going to talk about in-office romance stories since it's going to be Valentine's Day. So
Yes.
give a few little stories.
Okay, so the last episodes, I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, were about mental health. Is that
Yes.
okay? And you had Tamara Raspberry, another HR dynamo here, based here out of the DC area. Shout out to her. So how being in HR, being a generalist, and you know, I don't think we're ever going to stop, not for the foreseeable future, talking about what's happening right now. You know, like the same way that we still talk about September 11th, especially in the industry that both Christina and I are in. Like, there's always, like, when you meet someone, one of the ways to connect is always to like talk about how that's about what everybody is going through. This pandemic. So how important is it for you to ensure that the employees who you're there to support, you know, like that they have not only the employment, the financial support, but the emotional and mental well-being support that they need, especially during this time?
That's extremely important to me. So especially for the employees that look like me that we don't necessarily have a lot of. You know, one of the reasons I was able to work from home, but I decided that I wanted to come in the office because we have, like here where I currently work, we have a warehouse and we couldn't stop our warehouse employees. Like we needed them to come to work so we can continue, you know, getting our orders. And so I wanted to make sure that I was like in the office with them, you know, pretty much every single day, just so they can have someone to vent to, because I feel like a generalist is a great role because you're not, you know, so far up into leadership where they're a little timid and afraid to come and truly tell you how they're feeling and what they're going through. And so as a generalist, you have to make sure that you know the resources available to your area, any resources that, you know, your organization has available to your employees. Have a open field of communication. That has been the only thing that's truly gotten us through COVID, is that we need everyone to be open and honest about how they're feeling, not just if they have a fever and, you know, they're sick, but mentally, this is draining. Mentally, I don't want to get out of the bed most mornings. So, you know, how are you feeling?
And I think that's important. I think Christina and I and Rich and I spoke about this last week, that a lot of times when we do talk about, you know, again, the mental and the physical well-being of our employees, a lot of times we skip the HR department. Like, you know, it's like, especially physically, like Rich and I have talked about this on previous shows about the physical threats that we have faced being in staffing, like people coming up to our jobs, you know, trying to fight us, you know, not just these, you know, keyboard warriors that, you know, send you hate mail, like, which is terrible in and of itself, which is horrible, which is threatening and should be taken very seriously. But when that threat is right here in your face or waiting for you at your car, or, you know, like threatening your coworkers and that kind of stuff, like that becomes a problem. And I don't think we talk enough about that. So what things are you doing, you know, to get support for yourself? You know, you just talked about not wanting to get up. I get that, you know. Yeah. I got up today and, you know, I put on clothes and showered, even combed my hair.
Wow. Smelling good.
Because you understand, like HR Jazzy that's my girl. Like I have to make sure that I come correct for her. I told Kimberly last week, I was like, Jazmine makes me like really mellow. Like I don't want to cuss around her. I want to just be this wonderful beautiful, like Southern Belle, even though I'm from Philly. I was like, I just want to be
Look at
so
the effects you got on that, Jazmine. Wow.
Yeah, I was like, I just want to be
stories of why cussing around me is completely fine.
But I don't. That's the thing. Like I don't want to because I'm like she's just no. But anyway, so what are you doing? What are you doing for yourself, and how are you encouraging other HR people, other recruiting, other folks in staffing to seek the support that they need, because we need it too.
We definitely need it because we take on so much, and I think that's the hard part is that, like for me, you know, I don't want to lose a job. So I feel like I have to constantly be on for employees, you know, at all times. You know, we've talked a lot about how at certain points you need to stop, you know, responding to emails. But if an employee emails you at 7:00 at night and you just happen to be logged in and you see it and you're like, oh, well, maybe this is something really important that I need to look at. But honestly, Baked HR has helped a lot because we are able, and like doing things like this, because we're able to, you know, get on and talk to other people, talk, you know, just about anything HR related, and you can feel like it's a safe space. A lot of times when I'm at home, I'm like reading crappy romance novels or stuff that I have no business eating. Like I baked an entire chocolate cake last week and, you know, had no business eating pretty much the entire thing, but it happened. It is what it is. So just doing little small things like that. You know, when we talked about mental health on Baked HR, like you said last week, you know, one of the issues we brought up therapy, and I've been in a constant cycle of I'm going to find a therapist. Like I need to talk to someone. I'm going to find a therapist. And then you start looking for one and you're like, this is a lot. Like, what exactly am I looking for? Is it someone I want to, you know, go to? Do I want to talk to a man or a woman? Like, you know, what type of things am I truly going to talk about? So it's so much that, you know, I've been like in a constant, I'm gonna find one. Oh, never mind. So I just use crappy romance novels and baking and planning to get through the times.
Does your organization have an ERP?
We do have an EAP, yeah.
EAP. I said ERP, Employee Referral Program. You see how I'm always on recruiters. You have an EAP, an Employee Assistance Plan. So that's, I mean, because some of those services, you know, at least the trials are at no cost to you. Yeah. That would just be my suggestion, you know, when you do feel overwhelmed by choosing someone, to just try it out, to actually try it out, not just try it out in theory. But that's all I'm going to give you as someone who has been through that cycle before. I will let you know that that's something I can offer. But Rich, I know you want to have fun because now I'm starting to get a little tight in my chest. Yeah,
I am. First off, Jazmine, you're from Alabama. So please tell me you're not a Crimson Tide person, right?
I am not.
I'm Ohio State, if you like anything about football. So
I don't.
That is good. You're on my great list now, not the naughty list. But no, one thing I want to talk about is, and we talked about this in the pre-show, is recruiters and HR. They're stressed out over each other. How do we combine them to get together to be a family? And that's my common goal. And every time I work with somebody in HR, I'm like, hey, I'm your best friend or your brother. Mm-hmm. How do you get to that level with that?
I think HR and recruiting, like, we actually need to sit down and have a conversation, because I think it's a lot of, oh, well, you know, that person said that or this person said that. One reason, like, I've done recruiting in all of my roles, but Christina and I worked together at one point in time maybe a year or two ago. And she actually helped me truly understand recruiting, because, you know, that's her powerhouse. And I was working HR at the organization. And so she truly helped me like understand how to recruit for different roles, how to understand what you're actually recruiting for, how to understand what your organization does so you can actually recruit for the correct role and position. So I honestly think it's just having a conversation, because it's always, like you said, I think you said you get scared to call HR because their HR is going to shoot you down. Yeah. But honestly, like, does HR really have the right to shoot you down as the recruiter?
Well, in some organizations, depending on the structure of the departments, recruiting is technically a part of HR, or, we're autonomous in name only, but when it comes time to like real reporting, like at the top, we have no representative. It's the HR VP, the CHRO, and then a recruiting VP or recruiting director who sits under them. So we're either dotted line or so there's not a lot of organizations who have their recruiting departments who are autonomous and quote unquote equal to HR. So that starts it. And then, you guys go through some of the same challenges that internal recruiters go through, or the internal recruiting departments, internal talent acquisition departments. Like, what are you going to be called? Your nomenclature, like the job that you do, that you still call yourself a generalist, where a lot of folks who do generalist work now want to be HR business partners.
The trend.
She just rolled her eyes hard.
Okay.
But a generalist is what you said. A generalist does recruiting, does HR, they do some comp, they do some employee relations, they do audits and compliance, they do reporting. They still got to deal with crazy managers and crazy employees. Like, there's a lot of stuff that goes into being a generalist. So I've a lot of times said that recruiters are HR generalists too, because we touch different parts of the whole organization. We have to know a little bit about everything, because if we truly know the org, to be able to promote it in a way to future employees, or we have to know certain departments to promote it to our internal employees who may be looking for a change, and even again to our external employees, why do you want to work here? Like, we have to be able to tell that story every single time. So I think we have more in common than we say we did. Like, not for the specialized folks, because you got a lot of HR people who like me, like I'm in TA, but I have a niche now. Like, I'm not a recruiter, meaning my sole primary job is every day, if I was inside of an organization, would not be to fill roles. I would be doing ops somewhere. So the same way, like, how can we bridge that gap between recruiting and HR, so that and it's not so much as a job share for me. Like, a lot of people are like, oh, well, you just have to try. If you know what recruiters do, then it'll be okay. Or if you knew what HR did, then it wouldn't be okay. Like, sometimes that's not enough. So what are some ways that you can suggest that HR and recruiting, HR and TA can bridge that gap?
Simple.
See, the issue is that it's always a like, I do more than what you do type of situation. Okay. Instead of coming together and saying, hey, we need to fill this role. We need people in this organization. We need to make sure that the employees are happy. Why does it always have to be a back and forth of, well, like, some people, I'm sure there are some HR generalists that just right now, when you were like, well, recruiting can be HR generalists in a role, I'm sure there were some HR generalists just like, how dare she say that? And I'm just like, cool.
They're used to me saying stuff like that.
HR, they're recruiting just like us. I mean, they're doing the same thing sometimes. They're working in the same order we are. So it's like almost like a little bit of a competition, of who gets the person first.
Yeah, I do hate when organizations put it in that way, where they do have a recruiter, but they also have HR, and they're going back and forth to see who's going to win out, winning that role. Like, that definitely does not help the tone at all. So I do hate that, but yeah, I don't know if we ever get past.
I'm going to jump in and tell you, HR, I'm friends with them all. when I sit down and meet with them, I'm like, we're drinking a damn beer or a coffee. You're my best friend, and that's it. And if you say blank you to me, I'm going to say it back to you, and we're going to work together, solve problem. You know what? And we're great friends. I've never had HR like shun me down. They're like, dude, this person sucks. And then I would say the same thing. Well, you need to change some of your operations too. So we built that family relationship is what I'm trying to say. That's what we got to build with the other organization.
Hashtag blank you.
Like that. Hey, I'm trying to keep it clean. But no, I think that's, and both of you probably agree on that. We have to be on a conversation where we're like, not scared to say something that we have, if we're representing a candidate, let's express that. Why did they select that candidate? Well, just not say, well, put some bullet points together so you feel comfortable talking to them. But you should already have that point where you're comfortable before you even send a candidate.
That might be, you might have just said something profound without even knowing that you were saying something profound.
No,
so
saying,
that is, no. But having been on both sides. Mm-hmm. So this is for internal and external talent acquisition. What you just said was you being an advocate for the candidate. And a lot of times HR is coming from the perspective of being an advocate for the organization and and in that the employees that are already there. So that's where the disconnect, that's where a lot of times the disconnect is, because we are advocating for different groups of people. Like we're advocating for, again, the new person to fill the role, whether they be outside or inside the organization, and they're advocating for the organization and the employees who already exist.
Exactly. But if we would express to them that, we have the best interest of both. We have interest of the company and the work.
Oh, absolutely.
When you say that stuff, you have to say it. You just can't. You got to just say, hey, I got the best interest of both. People listen to that stuff, but we don't say that. A lot of people are scared to say that. They're like, well, I represent my company and that's it.
So this is the last shop talk, because I want to get into a fun. Oh, okay. So let me answer this question. Christina says, I think recruiters are quick to think, and in parentheses, sometimes rightly so, that HR doesn't understand the business operations and the cost of slowing down the recruiting process. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. We're always taught to think in terms of the business, like how much is this costing? How much is this hire costing? How our time to fill in terms of numbers, our time to start, how many people went through the process of getting to the interview that, you wasted our time. Our time is money. Our time is money.
Don't think that way ever.
Is money. But again, HR is like, okay, let's just follow these processes.
And I have to say something. Being on the other side, staffing side, a lot of people are impatient because HR takes a little bit slower than the recruiter. Yeah. They submit the candidate, they want an answer within 2 minutes. It doesn't happen that way.
Well, that's not reasonable for either of us, for either side.
Yeah, but I had a job posting recently that was open for 366 days. And I told people multiple times, like, this needs to be closed. Like, no, seriously, this needs to be closed. Like, answer the people who have actually put in an application and tell them no. If it's no, just tell them no. But
they didn't tell people no.
Listen, it stayed up for 366 days.
Wow, that's I don't even know what to say on that. Can I say the hashtag?
Yes, like that. No, thank you. Now I just lost all interest. Like I did. Like that's too long.
It's extremely too long.
Yeah. What was the motive behind the whole thing? Why is it open for so long?
It was just a position that, if we got somebody for it, great. If not, okay, we'll keep it pushing. And I'm like, that's fine if you want to do that, but open it for a month if you want to do that, and then close it. And then, 2 months later, open it again if that's how you want to do that. But don't just leave it up there for a year.
Holy cow.
Just let it
in a year, I got more gray hair. Hell, shit.
Thanks. I love it. I love it. Woo! This coffee is hot and it's going straight up my neck.
In a year. Hey, I'll see you in a year. 2022, I'll get you hired.
No, thank you. Like, nobody wants, like, that's a horrible, we can talk about that another time. That could be a whole show, honestly.
Yes.
Like, that could be a whole show. But this is the last shop talk I want to do, because I read something, it was something controversial, and you know me, I've tried to be a little less reactionary in my older age. And I'm just like, when someone says something totally ridiculous or stupid, I'm like, I just either close it, mute it, or just move away. But there was this whole conversation on Instagram the other day, and I didn't respond, but they were talking about how, like, basically, like, HR isn't like, just make sure you know that HR isn't for you, and like it was just horrible. Like, and I was just like, and it was hurtful because, like, a career coach had given this advice, or a career coach was the one that was pushing this narrative, and I'm like,
wow.
Like, stop giving people who are seeking help from you these, like, doom and gloom
negative responses.
Oh, like, straight out the gate.
Why people already hate HR?
Yes. So how do you do that was my question. How do you do your part to, the same way that Rich and I do our part to try and change the perception of staffing and talent acquisition / recruiting? How do you do your part to let people know that HR is people too?
So I think doing just this, I think that was one of the reasons I started blogging, for people to understand how HR works. And yes, HR does have a responsibility to an organization, but HR has hired people in. We have a responsibility to the people that we are asking to continue pushing this organization to make it what it is. So you might not like every single decision that leadership or HR makes. I can guarantee you that HR doesn't like every decision that leadership makes.
True.
And you're not going to always agree. But for people to just downright say HR is not for you, and I've seen that multiple times. It's interesting coming from a career coach, because you would think, especially right now, you would want to push people to the part of the organization that can help them the most. And while we can't do everything, that's one reason why, HR is burnt out, because we do always feel like we have a responsibility to the employees at every single moment of every single day. But HR has the resources for you. I tell people all the time, come in my office if you need to just sit down and, get a moment to yourself. If you want to come in my office, close the door, scream, and walk back out, if that's what you need to do, then do it, because it's hard. Like, working in this environment right now is so difficult, not just because of, the coronavirus. I saw something the other day that said, I think it said, like, I'm extremely blessed that I haven't gotten the coronavirus, but I'm also extremely stressed, trying to make sure that I don't get the coronavirus, doing all the work that makes sure I don't get the coronavirus. And I'm like, that is true. Like, I'm very thankful that, I have not had any, like, my dad did have it last year for a little bit.
Goodness.
He recovered
very
quickly, thank God. So, I haven't directly been affected by it, but that's also the stress of, making sure I'm doing everything possible and that I'm doing everything for the employees that they need done. So I hate that, that's still the conversation of HR isn't there for you when truly HR can be there for you. We can't, be everything for you, but we do have the capacity, and the information to actually be there for you.
You have the resources that
Yes.
can get them the help.
Exactly. But they need to help themselves too, I think, at the end of the day. They can't just put the finger at HR. We all have to apply ourselves.
Yes, exactly. You have to be responsible for it as well. But yeah, so just doing things like this, doing Baked HR, blogging, talking to different people is how we are going to continue to get the message out that you can't believe that old school narrative of HR isn't there for you. Because honestly and truly, I know a lot of people in HR who are definitely trying to turn that around. We've been doing so for, the past few years. I think that's one reason why a lot of us have gone against the organization of HR, because we're trying to turn it around.
Yes. Oh, and that's another thing. You are very active in your local HR organization. If you wanted to give some insight into young professionals who may be looking for some like-minded people, is that something you would suggest? Becoming a member of a local chapter?
Yeah, definitely. Check out all of their local chapters that are, HR based. Don't just go to, maybe the main one that most people talk about, but check them all out, because I have gotten a lot of great information and growth from being a part of my chapter, from, just actually starting to, go to the meetings and then, getting on the board. I've gotten a lot of growth from that. So you should definitely, try that route. And they have a lot of student chapters as well. If you are on the, the younger or going to school for HR and you're completely new to it, they have student organizations for HR as well that you should look into.
Awesome. Do you have any other questions, Rich, before I ask the Black History Month question?
All I have to say is I love HR and I'm on the other side. So if I love it, everybody else should love it too, man. Just reach out to them, talk to them. I think that's what we all have to do. Last thing I want to say is Baked HR. I love the name. I have to say we all brand ourselves as, the shark and the trap, but I love that. And I think that's what people need to do. Be creative out there. Don't be scared what people say and just do it. Right?
Yes. I would tell y'all a little secret. So before we decided to name it Baked HR, we were going to name it, like HR shots or something like that. But then we were like
shot.
Yeah.
Shot,
oh, here we go.
Okay. And we were like, oh, and we can take a shot every time we do A, B, C, or D. And then we were like, let's not do that.
No, y'all would be tore down.
Yes, that would be down. And I think the last thing I have to say is, you know what? For mental health, I love life. Just reach out to somebody that's positive and have them as a mentor. We're all here. Reach out to me, reach out to KG. I'm here to make you have a happy day. And I think that's what we need. We need positive people in our life as we have a stressful job. That's
it's a stressful job. So like we did with our 12-day series, we want to have a local. Shout out to one of the best employment attorneys in all of HR land. Kate
That's
Bischoff.
Why we're live. And
just made the second comment of the day. Local chapters are greater than national shit show. And thank you. That's a new hashtag. Hashtag blank that. Hashtag local chapters.
Stay local.
All right, Jazzy. So I'm gonna put you on the spot.
Oh God.
In a good way.
Here we go.
So it's Black History Month.
Mm-hmm.
It's a stressful time for the folks who have to who are going into an office or who do work in an environment where they're in close proximity to their other employees, and their organizations decide that they want to celebrate Black History Month. So what is, first question is, best Black History Month celebration at work?
Maybe this is something about the organizations that I've worked for, but I've never had one.
I don't dislike that. So you've never had one, so then I guess you don't have a worst. But have you come across any like just Black History Month work fails? Like, please don't do that.
I haven't personally. There's this guy, I can't think of his name. He's on Instagram, and he does these like hilarious reels about
yeah, about going to work. I can't think of his name. It's Wade Empire.
That's probably it. But like, he does a great job at it. But my thing is, I want you to acknowledge Black History Month. But when you're new to the game, a lot of people got new in 2020 and were like, oh, we're gonna, Black Lives Matter. We're gonna do the little black boxes. We're gonna support. We're changing our mission, vision, and statements and all of that. So a lot of people got brand new. But I want you to acknowledge Black History Month. But I want you to realize that I'm Black every single day.
Every single day.
Mm-hmm.
Every single
totally
day.
Agree.
All right, man. So tell everyone where they can find you and Baked HR and HR Jazzy.
The list goes on and on.
Right. I'm trying to think. So you can find me on Twitter at HR Jazzy, and that's HRJAZZY. You can find me on my blog, hrjazzy.blog. You can also find me on Instagram at HR Jazzy. Baked HR, you can find us on Instagram at Baked HR. You can find us, of course, on YouTube on the Baked HR channel. And then you can always send us questions or anything like that at bakedhr@gmail.com.
And your current show was uploaded yesterday?
No, we took a break after the mental health one.
No, I understand. That makes sense.
So
next Wednesday.
Yeah, we'll have one next Wednesday, and then y'all can join us on Sunday on Baked HR Live on Instagram.
All right, great. Thank you so much for taking time out of your morning to speak with us and to give all of this great information and insight to not only the up and coming HR stars, but those of us who have been in this game for a minute. Like I'm always learning from you. I'm very grateful for your friendship and
yeah, little emotion there.
Oh, stop it! Knock it off. People's Free Food Program. So grateful for you. You're an amazing person. And I look forward to all the things that you're going to continue to do here out in the HR verse. Is that a word? HR universe?
We'll make it one. That's fine.
That's fine. All right. Hashtag blank that. And next week we have another Black History Month edition of Trap Chat with the Shark. Our very special guest will be Kay Graves Sandy. You probably remember her from 12 Days of Recruiting. And she will be back to get more in depth for some job seeker information, especially those who are early in their career. So hope you'll come back and join us. Enjoy your rest of your Thursday. Enjoy your whole weekend. If you're getting snow like Rich and I, stay safe. And for everyone that's living in the sunshine, blank that.
Remember, subscribe to our YouTube channel and support us at Staffing Shark on YouTube. We love you.
Thanks, everyone. Have a good day.
Bye.